Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. What's the 411 of aesthetics? My name is Diamond, for those who don't know. So now in this segment, I actually want to talk about a little bit more about my career, not only as an esthetician and a nail tech, but also my teaching career and why I became an instructor, how did I become an instructor, things of that nature. So again, like I stated before in a previous video, that I moved to Orlando, Florida. Got like I said, the bulk of my experience in Florida. Started working at I worked at a couple of different places, but it was this one particular spa that I primarily worked at. I worked at that place for about okay, so I moved there in 2012. I worked there for about 2.5 years. Decided that career's not quite going in the direction that I wanted to go. So then I kind of took a break and segued my way into a teaching career of aesthetics. And how I actually got started was I noticed that at my primary job working at the spa, I was always ended up training anybody. Now, I did not have the official title as trainer, but it was almost like an unspoken, I don't want to say rule, but it was almost like an unspoken thing, so to speak, at the place that I worked at. It was always so-and-so, and I'm not going to name drop, but so-and-so told me to come see you, and they said they know that you'll help me. And at first I was like, okay, well, why would you volunteer my my services? Like, I didn't necessarily sign on to become a trainer, but be the person that I am, I can't stand to see anybody not crying for help, but just someone in need, I guess, is how I could put it. So I was like, okay, all right, I'll show you a few tricks of the trade. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna give you all my tricks, but I will at least give you enough to get you comfortable. Okay, so next thing I knew, not only was I showing people how to do certain techniques in nails and aesthetics, I was just the all-around go-to Miss 411 person of the place that I worked at. And my boss, previous boss, he came to me and he was like, girl, you are always helping somebody out no matter what. And I'm looking at him like, well, you always volunteering my services, buddy. And honestly, not that I mind, because like I said, I can't stand to see anybody cry for help. I really didn't mind. I just kind of fell into it. And I liked it. I really, really liked, not so much as someone, excuse me, I'm saying this wrong. Not as so much as always wanting to be needed, so to speak. But I didn't mind helping out whoever needed help or wanted to know a certain technique that I was using on a client. So I just always ended up, it was always go to Diamond, she'll help you, go to her. And it, like, next thing I knew, my boss was like, you need to apply for a teaching position. And at the time, there was a teaching position open for Dermalogica. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Dermalogica, but they're a skincare line. But the official name is the International Dermal Institute. That's their formal name. Dermalogica is the skincare product line that was created by the International Dermal Institute. So, anywho, make a long story short on that, I was like, okay, now granted, prior to me applying to this job, I've never taught before. I just had always been the trainer or non-official trainer at the place that I worked at. But I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. It won't hurt. Needless to say, unfortunately, I didn't get the position, but that's okay. I did not let that deter me from still looking for a teaching position. So I said, okay, obviously, granted, at the time I did not have the credentials of the position. So let me find a school who is looking for an instructor, and maybe even just do it part time and kind of go in that direction. And I did. I actually ended up finding a position at a beauty school in technically in Castleberry, not in Orlando, but we'll just say Orlando. So I ended up doing that for 2 years, and I loved it. Now, do not get me wrong. There was some heartaches. Like, oh gosh, I could have not needed that drama, but you live and you learn, and people will be people. I've was actually had talking to a family member about it, and they always told me you have to just love people for who they are and kind of shake it off. But me being the empath that I am, and me being the, I guess, sensitive person that I am, being in this field where you touch people, you have a tendency to take on their energy. And I'll get into more of that later. You have to be careful. You have to kind of guard yourself. So not to get on a tangent on that, but I really, really enjoyed teaching and sharing not only my experiences but my knowledge. I do not mind imparting a lot of my knowledge. I really don't. Now, how you use that knowledge, that's up to you. That's up to you if you decide to use it or not. But at least I know, and I knew in my heart of hearts, that hey, I gave you the information. It's up to you on how you used it. So that's just a little bit about my teaching and how I got into teaching aesthetics. And I also taught nails too for a hot second. But my first love will, as far as teaching, will always be aesthetics. So. But that's a little bit about that. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concern about what I'm talking about, please leave it in the comments section. Again, I will, of course, love to hear from you. You all have a good night. Hope to see you soon and hear from you soon.